Empieza.
Yeah. Everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm back finally. I think after like 5-6 months something I was absent on my YouTube channel, had a lot of things to do. I just want to try now my new kind of setup here slash mini micro studio. Yeah, I think the last video that I brought to you was a review of the Dell Precision 3581, if I remember. And today I'm very excited because I have finally a different model of workstation that is not again a Dell workstation. I think already like maybe 2 years ago I reviewed a workstation that is not from the brand of Dell. And today I have an HP Zbook Studio G9. It's an amazing laptop. I just bought it I think like 3 weeks ago, used of course, like second hand. And I'm very excited because actually it works great. I can already tell you it works pretty great. And it's a 16-inch laptop. It's pretty light. Okay, light depends on how you see it, but at least in comparison to other workstations that I used to use in the past, it's a very light computer. Really nice build quality, and performance is also great. Battery life is also great. And the 16-inch display makes this laptop a really nice laptop. There are actually really nice things that I can say about the display that is included in this computer, in this configuration. And all in all, I am very excited, and I really want to tell you how is my experience with HP Zbook Studio G9. So stay in the video if you want to see more, and see you now. So let's just start with the design. As I just mentioned before, this is a 16-inch mobile workstations, which means it's a little bit big. It's not that big, it's not that heavy, but you need to take into account this is also not lightweight, or it's not going to weigh the same as a MacBook Air 15 inches or something like that. So expect a bit of weight and expect something that you really need to carry on. So 16 inches from the outside. This is an aluminum crafted computer. I hope you can see here. It's pretty well made. The build quality of this computer is also great, like the Dell workstations. It has it's not missing anything in build quality. It's pretty robust, pretty sturdy. As you can see as well from the bottom, it's just aluminum. You have the air intakes as well in the bottom, and in the top there's only the C from the Z Workstations. There's nothing else, and as well in the bottom you have small rubber pads just to hike up a little bit the height of the computer, just in order to take air a little bit better. And that's pretty much all, to be honest. For the port selection, I think this workstation is okay. I think it has not the best port selection, but we need to remember that we're in the category of in the slim workstations, so you cannot pack like to complete USB-A's or Ethernet ports. But I think they are missing some things. And just remember as well, it is not a new laptop. It's from like 3 years ago already, or 2 years and a half already. So there are things that are missing, like HDMI 2.1 just since the beginning. But in one side you have a micro SD card. This is the most disappointing thing for me, at least in this workstation, that why you don't put just there no full-size SD card. No, you need to use a micro SD card, which is, I think, for the price of that you should pay for this computer, makes no sense. And after that you have a display port, USB-C compatible. This port is very important because this is the one that displays really full resolution and with direct output of the graphics card dedicated of the NVIDIA. In this case, you have a full-size USB-A port and a Kensington lock. That's from the right side. And from the left side, you have your power brick, which is actually, I have it here. It's pretty compact. And this computer has a 200-watt power brick, which is also quite nice. It's also very slim. I will show you later. And then you have two Thunderbolt 4 ports. This is also a nice thing. And just to finalize, you have your audio combo jack for microphone and headset. And that's pretty much all. There is nothing else in the back, and there is nothing else in the front. How do I got this computer? I got this computer used, second-hand, as I just mentioned as well before. I used to buy in something called eBay Kleinanzeigen here in Germany, and I paid for this computer just straight out of the box. And just for your information, I paid for this computer 1,300 euros, which is also a lot of money for a used computer, which is not new. but I like it a lot, and I'm very happy for the money, and because of the specification that this computer has, it makes a lot of sense. And that's the second thing of this video, the specifications of this computer. This computer is from the 12th generation of Intel Core series processors. In my configuration, I have an Intel Core i9 12900H, which has 14 cores, 6 performance cores, 8 efficient cores, and 20 threads. It has 64 gigabytes of RAM, and you have the possibility to upgrade it up to 96 gigs of RAM if you update to the newest BIOS, which is also a pretty nice thing. And my computer, and that's why I got this laptop, it has an RTX A5500, which is great graphics card. I don't know if you remember my latest videos from Razer. If you remember, in my Razer 15 Studio, I used to have an RTX 5000, also with 16 gigabytes of video memory, and this is not the A5000, this is the A5500, which is equivalent to a 3090 Ti mobile workstation, mobile graphics card, which is a pretty nice graphic card. Because of the design that is a slim workstation and 16 inches, it's not this thick, heavy workstation like from Dell or from Lenovo. It only packs 90 watts of power onto the GPU with up to 150 watts of power with Optimus Advanced, which is also a pretty nice thing. But I really don't need that many power, and I think it's very important because otherwise you were not able to cool down components. But just to say you as well, the RTX A5500 on this computer works amazing, pretty cool. And let me show you one thing. So here I have a Dell Precision 75. This is a Dell Precision 7680. It is a 16-inch mobile workstation from the brand Dell. And I have this computer already I've been using this computer already like a few months, and I just wanted to show you as well how the thickness is different and how heavy the one differs from the other one. This is the HP, and this is pretty light. This is pretty light, to be honest. And for this, you really need to make a huge effort to lift this up. And you will say, Jorge, but that's another kind of workstation. It's placed in another league. It's different. It has better components, it's better cooling equipment, and at some point it's okay if you think that, but at least for this Precision 7680, it's really not that good, and the cooling system is really bad, like really doesn't work pretty well. And I will show you some comparisons later, because what I like from these two laptops is that both are 16 inches. This is like the thinnest mobile workstation series from HP, and this is like the heavy duty mobile workstation from Dell. And let me tell you from the beginning, even that this computer is older and has older generation components, but as well maxed out component. This is also a maxed out component from the 13th generation and from the HX class CPUs, like really power and a really powerful GPU. As well, the top of the line NVIDIA RTX 5000 8th generation and 96 gigs of RAM and everything. Let me tell you, this HP mobile workstation works better, and I'm very happy. That's why I'm very happy for this HP workstation, because I am really finally can share you my thoughts about it. So yeah, that's the configuration: an i9 12900H, 64 gigs of GDDR5, the RTX A5500. I have 2 terabytes of an NVMe PCI Express 4.0 in this computer, and all in all, it's a very nice configuration. So as I just mentioned before, this is a 16-inch panel. At the beginning, I was like I was like questioning the quality of the display, because I was not sure what kind of display I got. As I just mentioned, I bought it used, and the guy from eBay came to my home and he delivered it to me. Actually, it was pretty nice, and he explained me some things of the computer. And yeah, and I was like, the display looks a little bit weird, but what I found out is that HP used to sell these displays with an more like a privacy coating that I hope you can see here, that as soon as you don't look straight in the perfect angle to the display, you cannot see really anything that is happening on the display. And it's also actually pretty cool, to be honest. At the beginning, I was like, this is weird. I don't know why this happens, but you cannot even take pictures with a camera, with your phone or something, if it is not in a perfect straight angle to your eyes. Now I'm pushing it in the direction of the camera, and I think it's pretty cool. It is a full HD display. It picks up to 500 nits brightening. It's a really nice display, and I specifically wanted a full HD display. Actually, this is a full HD plus 1920 by 1200 with an aspect ratio of 6:10, which is also pretty cool. And I was specifically looking for a full HD or full HD plus display because I didn't want to put that much work on the GPU to render a 4K panel that I really don't want. I really don't need. And in the case, which that's the case actually from the Dell. This Dell Precision workstation, as I just mentioned, this is the best workstation that money can buy until now for in the Dell website. Of course, there's the Dell 7780, but no one likes like heavy workstation. This display, for example, it's an OLED panel, 4K, 16-inch. It's an incredible display. I'm going to tell you it's an incredible display. But for the things that I do, I really wanted a full HD display because the pixel density that I was looking for, I needed to be a little bit less. No? But yeah, that's a nice thing. As I just mentioned, this is a 16-inch panel. This is an OLED display. This is a normal display, but it is an amazing display, and this is exactly what I was looking for. The color reproduction is also great, and I have no complaints. I really have no complaints. I like really much this HP display, even if it is full HD plus. I will just leave the Dell workstation here in order to show you some things later. But yeah, that's the inside as well of the computer. You have a backlit keyboard. In this backlit keyboard, it has RGB. You can configure it as much as you want, and it has modes, they have colors, something like the Razer Chroma style, but I think not that advanced, but it has a lot of things. I just leave it in white, and that's pretty much good for me. The trackpad is also a pretty nice trackpad, big trackpad, and it works actually pretty good, pretty well. And I have as well a fingerprint sensor in order to log in or to make another transactions in Windows. I do not use it because I don't like Windows data privacy management that is implementing right now. But all in all, it's pretty cool. You have a Bang & Olufsen speakers, and they sound actually pretty good. Actually, I'm very surprised. It doesn't sound that good as a MacBook or something like that, but it's actually pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm not like a heavy user for audio on the computer, but I think it's a nice thing for all of you guys that like that stuff. And as well, aluminum crafted in the inside. Pretty standard, but I like it a lot. I hope you can see here. I like it a lot. It's pretty minimalistic, and there is not that much to say from the design. Jorge, why do you got this computer? Or for who is this computer target? Actually, I got this computer because I always wanted like the most powerful mobile workstation in order to do my research, in order to do finite element simulation or structural mechanics simulations, or maybe some now with generative AI or with NVIDIA Omniverse platform. And I really wanted to push a little bit the boundaries of what you can do with 3D modeling, with rendering, with production technologies, with manufacturing technologies. And I really was looking for a nice workstation. This Dell workstation, it got me really disappointed. It's super expensive workstation, for example, and I was okay, let's just buy the best. 4K display, OLED, a 30th generation, 24 cores, 22 threads, 3950H CPU, 96 GB of GDDR5 RAM, and NVIDIA RTX 5000 from the 8th generation, 3-4 terabytes NVMe PCI Express 4.0, and I just packed this computer with the best configuration that you can get. And I'm really disappointed from this computer. Really disappointed, to the point that it's just stay at my home and I don't use it for anything, to be honest, and it's just there. So I was looking for something better, because the Dell workstation, and with the problem with the Dell workstation, I'm going to talk about this in a video later, is the thermal dissipation and the thermal constraints, the cooling system, to be honest. Really not working. and I was really disappointed and really frustrated. So I was like, okay, I need something lighter and better somehow. So I started to look into Lenovo workstations and HP workstations. Since year I have used as well HP workstations, Lenovo workstations, but not mobile workstations. Actually, mobile workstations probably like since I don't know, 5 years or something. I stuck with Dell mobile workstations, and yeah, I think it's like, okay, Jorge, maybe it's time to change a little bit what you are using. And I found this computer, and I'm very, very happy. It's really lightweight, really lightweight. You can just travel with it. You can just go in your place around with it. You can grab it with one hand, and you are not going to break your arm or your shoulder or something like this. And I really like it a lot. So that's why I got it, because of the performance. I want as well to render my videos for my YouTube channel on this computer. I want to replace my Dell Precision desktop workstation. I want to save a little bit of energy, as well to reduce the sound or to minimize the sound that the workstation, even that my Dell workstation is really quiet. I really wanted to minimize the sound that it was emitting and the energy consumption as well. So I was like, okay, let's jump totally into a workstation to do everything, my PhD, some research private, and just to learn new things, for 3D printing, for everything that I do. I wanted a heavy workstation. So I found this, and I'm very, very happy. I can just tell you, and I can just recommend you Zbook Studio G9, G10, and the new G11, also Generation 11 that is coming up in the next weeks. I just can't really recommend them to you. And I will really tell you, I am a fan of Dell, and I am a premier partner of Dell at my work, and I'm really disappointed from Dell mobile workstation right now. And I can really tell you, if you need to make a decision about a mobile workstation, doesn't matter if it's a thin and light workstation or a heavy duty workstation like the one that I have here, try to avoid Dell until they fix their thermal solutions. Try to avoid these Dell workstations, and totally can recommend you these HP workstations. The C Fury, which is the bigger brother of the Zbook Studio, is going to perform much better components, better cooling system, and it's also a really nice computer. Or go with Lenovo. Lenovo is going to perform as good as HP, because they are one step ahead in cooling systems from Dell, and you can really notice the performance. Jorge, how much performance? I can really tell you that I was playing games. I'm going to show you later. I was playing games, like really, triple L games, but like not something like Cyberpunk with RTX or something. I was just playing Midnight Sun. It's like a 3-year-old game or something. And in this computer, with the best CPU, best GPU that you can get in a laptop today, like literally the best in the world, the most expensive, it was started to thermal throttle, and the CPU and the game experience it started to stutter. The frames just started to drop down, and it was just a nightmare experience. You couldn't even move the menus, you could even pause. You had a delay and a lack of seconds between movements because it was so hot, and it cooled down the components properly, and the graphics card was really hot, and the CPU was like 100 degrees Celsius, the GPU was like a 90 degrees Celsius. Everything inside was so hot, the computer itself was so hot, the Dell Precision, that it was really not safe for the human, for the person that was using it. So in comparison, this HP workstation, the same game, Midnight Suns, the same quality settings, it performed amazing, like really amazing computer. And because of the Full HD Panel Plus, you don't need to push the 4K. It was really working amazing, and I was so surprised. The Dell as well was fully like flying because of the fans. They were like blowing up the fans totally in my whole room, and this guy was of course loud, but not that much. It was really normal loud computer, and I'm really happy with it as well. It performs perfect for CAD, for 3D modeling, for rendering. with Rhino, with the NVIDIA Omniverse, with SolidWorks Visualize. It just works amazing. So now I'm working here as well in the computer. I hope you can see here, I'm recording as well with OBS Studio. I'm opening a model that I download from internet, from a bike that I'm doing some tests with simulation as well with SolidWorks. And yeah, so what we see here, the computer is running on battery. Yeah, that's one thing that I want to show you. The computer is running on battery. It's totally quiet. I mean, I have the microphone is right here, like 20 centimeters from the computer, and you can barely hear it. It's really, really quiet, and it's running totally in battery. It has an 86 watt-hour battery, I forgot to mention, and it holds up like in normal use mode, and in Windows, not in better performance mode or in best performance mode, it holds up like almost 5 hours. Like 5 hours and 30 minutes, something like that. In full performance modes, like 2 hours. But it's actually great for a slim laptop. It's pretty cool because the Dell workstation, for example, it was like in 1 hour it was empty. So just about the battery life, I was doing some tests yesterday as well when I was trying to edit this video, and I found out a weird process that was running in the background, and it was taking like a huge amount of the battery life. And I started to research this, and this process is called ICS. It's from like Intelligent Charging System or something like that, and it is a program from HP, from HP, that it's supposed to charge intelligent your battery and learn how is your workload after the time and optimize the battery life and the battery charging conditions of your laptop. And I was doing some research on the internet, and I found a lot of posts, a lot of forum topics in which they talk about this software or this program giving problems in the background, and I was kind of having these problems. So the solution that I couldn't find a solution, and not even with BIOS updates, but I think the solution was the most accepted solution on internet, on all these forums, was to uninstall this ICS software. Just go to the settings in Windows 10 or Windows 11, look for ics.exe or ICS, and just uninstall it. The battery is going to charge pretty normal, the fans are going to work pretty normal, and the temperature is going to be as stable as it was. And the most important thing, the battery life is going to really increase. Immediately increase like up to 7 or 8 hours of battery life under normal conditions, which is actually amazing, and I didn't know about this. I thought like 4-5 hours was pretty much good for a mobile workstation, but now that I uninstalled this ICS program, it's running like up to 7 hours of battery life, which is a pretty nice thing. Unfortunately for HP, they couldn't find even a solution or something like that, but if you uninstall it, it's going to work pretty well. It actually works pretty good. I mean, yeah, works pretty good. I can connect as well here. Now we're going to plug it in. We are in the high performance settings mode from the HP Advisor, and now, as you see now works perfect. And you can take a look. We can take a look to the turbo boost as well. That's also a really nice thing that I like from these computers. It turbo boosts up to like 4.5 gigahertz. But it usually never does it unless I really require it. That's a nice thing in order to cool down as well the CPU properly. And now it's getting a little bit loud, but it's working pretty nice. I mean, for a laptop, and you're packing that much power, it's a pretty cool thing. As you can see here, I have no problems rotating. Real view graphics is activated, shadows are activated, ambient occlusion is activated, and it works pretty well. What I wanted to show you as well was the performance when you use the multi-core performance. I have as well also benchmark. I benchmarked this computer and so many others that I had in the last years, in the last months, with similar hardware, to be honest, and as well precision workstation from the desktop class, and it handles pretty well. It's actually pretty competitive computer because of course it has top class hardware. 2 years ago, this was the best hardware available for a mobile workstation. And what I want to show you here, for example, is a finite element simulation. This is something like I do since, I don't know, like 3 years already, 4 years, a little bit more professional as well. This is a model that I downloaded from internet, and I just want to apply some loads and boundary conditions just to make this test, and just to see how the frame performs under a static load. So that's what I'm going to show you, and I'm just going to run this study here. It is already defined, it's everything done. And if you can see here, for example, now the GPU is a little bit turbo boosting, as I just mentioned before, unless it really requires, the CPU doesn't turbo boost more than is really required. And because now we are using multi-core performance due to SolidWorks simulations, the single core performance is very important for some tasks, but at the end the multi-core performance is going to be the one that makes a difference for finite element simulations most of the time. Unfortunately, SolidWorks cannot parallelize in the GPU or in the graphics card dissolvers, but hopefully it's going to be a feature that is going to come up in the future. If you use other finite element software like Abacus, like ANSYS, like COMSOL, or the Altair software or Siemens software, you can use as well advantage of the GPU acceleration. But I'm going to show you later as well some benchmark that I made with ANSYS and how it works, because now it's taking advantage of this nice graphics card that has this computer. It's also a nice thing. So if you see here now, it's working. For this simulation, it takes around like 10 minutes to compute with this laptop. It's a pretty heavy simulation. It has like almost 1.5 million elements, which is also, it's not that much, but it's also not little. I mean, it's a nice project, and it takes like around like 10 minutes, which is an amazing thing. If you think about this, like you are doing this kind of work, imagine that you are an engineer and you are doing finite element simulations or design engineering at your company, or you just need to do some mechanical simulations. And with a laptop that is thin and light and not that loud, and really just a normal laptop workstation, and you are doing that kind of simulations in 10 to 15 minutes with a workstation like this, it works totally. And the money probably is not going to be a problem, because you are really taking advantage of the capabilities of a computer such like this. And that's exactly what I wanted with this computer. So that's the case for SolidWorks. SolidWorks is a really nice software that is going to be coupled with this computer. And I use, for example, with I'm going to show you as well now, when I'm going to edit this video, I'm going to be using DaVinci Resolve. And DaVinci Resolve, I already tested and performs really nice as well with this computer, because again, it takes advantage of the NVIDIA RTX A5500 and as well of the multi-core performance of the 12900H. And yeah, those are my thoughts with this computer. It has a really nice display. As I mentioned before, it has a really nice display. Since 16-inch makes an amazing job for heavy tasks like rendering or 3D rendering as well. 3D rendering or finite element simulation, structural mechanics, all kind of engineering work, and as well photo editing, video editing, of course, is going to work actually great in this kind of computer. That's the purpose of this computer. You can see here as well, for example, it has 1,607,000 elements, almost 2 million nodes, and almost 6 million degrees of freedom. As I just mentioned, it's not that much of a simulation, but it's a nice simulation. It's a nice project, as I just mentioned before. The memory RAM that is using in this case is up to 23 gigabytes, which is not that much. But as I just mentioned, for a mobile workstation, even if you could have more memory RAM, like in the Dell Precision 96 or 128 gigabytes of RAM, like in the past with my Dell Precision 7540, you are always capped a little bit. Even 128 gigs of RAM is not that much. And if you really need for a simulation more than 128 gigs of RAM, you probably need more CPU power. And you can find only that CPU power in desktop workstations. So that's why the 64 gigabytes of RAM that I have here, combined with the 14-core CPU and with the GPU, is like really the best combination that you can have. Now, as you can see here, now it's pushing the CPU to the max with a 82% CPU utilization. It's fully utilizing the cores. I can show you here as well with the Intel Extreme Tuning utility how it's working. It's doing the iterations, as you can see here, trying to converge a solution, and the CPU is pushing hard. is in the 2.8 gigahertz zone, and that is actually, you will say, Jorge, that's not that much actually, that's pretty low for a laptop. As I mentioned before, it has 14 cores, 20 threads, and all of them are running at least 2.8 gigahertz, which, as you can see here, for example, package temperature, the CPU being pushed to the maximum with a finite element simulation is using only, the package temperature, is only at 68 degrees Celsius. It's amazing, amazing temperature values. And then the performance cores, they are running at 3.1 gigahertz, which is also cool. It's only 6 cores, but they are running above the base clock speed, which is also a pretty nice thing for a thin and light laptop. And it's not that loud now. And the efficiency cores, they are running 2.4 gigahertz, something like that. It's not that much, but the combination is actually great. Because it has 14 cores, the simulation is going to get solved fast. That's a nice thing with multi-core performance, also in mobile workstations. As you can see here, the active core count is 14, which means all the cores are being put to work. There is no core that is on idle, and that's a nice thing. And as I just mentioned, for a mobile workstation, thinking something like that for a mobile workstation, maybe like 5 years ago, was not really something. You always were strict, or you always were constrained to a desktop workstation. Now it's getting a little bit loud, but it's not that hot, to be honest. Oh, now it's getting loud. Yeah, but it's working. It's still working. 100% CPU, and the package temperature is 65 degrees, 60 degrees, 62 degrees. Amazing. I mean, that's how a laptop should work. You get performance, and you can dissipate heat, not like something like here, not like someone that I have here at my side. So the simulation now is done. It's finished. It took around like 10 minutes, I just mentioned, and it's pretty cool. I mean, that's what this computer is actually made. This computer is made for this kind of workloads, but like totally multitasking. So as you can see here now I'm using a CATIA model that I have. I think I showed you as well before with the Precision 3581 video that I just uploaded like a few months ago. And as I just mentioned, this is like really smooth. Everything is working perfect. You can do tons of operation and it will make no problem at all. There is really so much power in this graphics card that it will totally always work. You can open a new component, and we can just do something like pretty fast here, and maybe just do something here, and then let's extrude it. I mean, it's just very basic, but I just want to show you that it works just pretty normal. Oh, we don't want to close everything. And as I mentioned before as well in my latest video, we can do totally overkill everything. And we can try to make a new assembly using this assembly. And I can show you how it's going to work. And then you can just copy them, and we can keep copying. We can just keep copying. And if you see, I mean, these are like so many chassis components that are here, and the computer will never struggle to do something. Yeah, let's just move them around. And we have this one, we have this one. We can just keep. Is that it? No, there is still one. Oh, there's still one here. And I don't know if you remember, but the RTX 3581, I think it holds like, I don't know, like 10 chassis or something like that. But now we can copy all of them, we can paste all of them, and then we can move them as well. And can we do it? And as you see here, there is no limit, to be honest, for such a graphics card and such a computer. This is what we're doing. You may think that is something that is not common, but believe me, it's pretty common. And hey, this is monstrous. This is really heavy-duty computers. And imagine that you have like 20 different models, a complete carrosseries, complete autos here modeled, and it's just super pretty fine. If we take a look now to the GPU, the GPU is only using like 0.4 gigabytes of memory, because it's really the NVIDIA RTX professional graphics card. They are so optimized to run on the memory that it's really no problem at all to this kind of graphics card. And even the integrated GPU is encoding the OBS Studio in the background, and it's still working pretty much fine. And we can open again SolidWorks, we can open again the model that we used to have in SolidWorks, and everything is going to be running pretty smoothly. What I want to show you here is if I open DaVinci Resolve again, then maybe we can take a look to what you can do in DaVinci Resolve. I wanted to show you something as well, maybe like a rendering Rhino, maybe do like a GPU rendering in Rhino, just for you, that you take a look how fast it can be. And maybe I can do a benchmark with only the integrated GPU, and you can see the difference. So now we have here, if you remember, the simulation work as well, that we run in parallel, and everything is working pretty fine. And that's why I like this computer a lot. As we mentioned before, you can just keep opening things. And for example, now this PowerPoint I am doing now, maybe something like, these are results of my PhD papers that I published just recently. And that's how I used to edit some figures sometimes. I just go here to PowerPoint, and these are very high resolution images. So I just go here and I create the images that I want for my papers, maybe very heavy images like this. And that's how I do my work as well. And this computer is running everything in the background, as I told you, with max feature, with ambient occlusion, with shadows, and everything is working pretty fine. So that's for CAD applications. So yeah, I just unplugged the camera, as I just mentioned before, just to show you the performance of DaVinci Resolve when it's unplugged. And if you see the CPU, of course, is underclocking itself because it has no power enough supply. We're working in the high performance mode. That's actually another thing that I wanted to show you now in the future, is this HP Z Workstation. They have a pretty nice software that is called HP's Performance Advisor. This software, it's pretty old, it's like 12 years old. It does an amazing job. It gives you all the configurations, all the specifications, and all the settings that your computer has, and how it is configured, how is the BIOS settings, and you can even actually change the BIOS settings directly into this Performance Advisor software. It's a really cool software, and in that software gives you the possibility to change as well the power plan. And different to Windows, that Windows usually do not offer now anymore the high performance mode. When you install the HP Performance Advisor in your HP workstation, it allows you to use the high performance mode, and that's a pretty cool thing. But of course, you need to remember that when you activate the high performance mode in the HP Performance Advisor, you are going to override the power settings of Windows, and then you are going to really utilize more power, and which means more heat, and which means higher temperatures. But in my experience using this Zbook Studio G9, I have zero problems with high temperatures. I have zero problems with thermal throttling, and even in the high performance mode, which is the best performance mode for this workstation, to be honest, for running simulations, for video editing, it just works really cool. So now I am on battery, but I am still in the performance mode of the HP Z Advisor. I'm going to show you here. If you go here, you can check here the apply the high performance plan in the settings, and you activate it, which does this, it disables a lot of services, and input more power or supplies more power into the CPU chip. And even this DaVinci Resolve 4K video, I mean, this is pretty smooth. And yeah, you can do, I mean, you can do pretty much everything, to be honest, here, because the GPU is taking the load, and we have an amazing GPU in this computer, which is a really cool thing. I don't know, we can just try, I mean, this is just straight from the camera. As I just mentioned, I didn't edit anything. Well, let's just take a look to YouTube, if we can upload it. And then let's make a test. Let's put it in the videos folder, just like that, add to render queue, and then render all. Let's take a look to what is happening in the background. CPU, as just mentioned, underclock because of the battery settings, and as I just told you, I am totally disconnected, and this is rendering now. So, but the GPU is taking over, of course. The GPU is taking over, and the GPU now is at 93% of utilization, which is pretty cool. And yeah, that's actually how these computers are made. Maybe they are not the most powerful in CPU, and because they cannot supply that much power, but the GPU takes over in a lot of heavy duty tasks, and that's one of the best advancements that we have in the technology of mobile workstations in the last years. So that's why I bought this computer, and that's why I like it a lot. Now I'm going to play for Horizon Forbidden West. Now the computer is plugged in, it's in high performance mode in the HP Performance Advisor, and the resolution is of course 1920 by 1200 because it's the resolution of my display. The settings are on very high, as you just saw before. I am recording in OBS Studio in the background, but the Intel integrated Xe graphics is taking care of the recording, which is amazing that you have two graphics cards. And sometimes we underestimate that we have an integrated GPU and an dedicated GPU. But the integrated GPUs and in the Xe, in the 12th generation of Intel CPUs, they are so powerful for normal tasks that sometimes maybe a lot of people forget that they have such a powerful GPU as well there. And if you have the option to use them both and to parallelize the task, it's a pretty cool thing. In this case, in OBS Studio, you are allowed to record or to select with which CPU and GPU you want to record. So in theory, we are using the dedicated GPU only for the game. As you can hear now it's ramping up the fans, but this is still pretty tolerable. And of course, if you use headphones, then the sound is going to be totally minimized and it's going to be noise cancelled probably. I have noise cancelling headphones, Sony, and they work amazing, so I don't really care about this. But this is pretty manageable in comparison to the Dell Precision, the 7680. That thing is going to take off soon. And yeah, as I just mentioned as well, I like the display. You always need to be in the best angle position because otherwise you are not going to see anything because of the data privacy. And now I'm here. It is night. I'm playing, and the performance is unbelievable. Like literally, the performance works great. I hope you can see some of the things that I'm trying here to tell you, but take a look to the moon, actually, to the reflections. Actually, it's a pretty nice scene, to be honest. And this is just an amazing laptop. And with this is another thing. Sometimes as well we underestimate the power of mobile workstations because they are expensive, because probably they don't want it, or because they are undervolted and the CPUs don't run that max like an MSCI Titan, or maybe like a Razer Blade 18 or an Alienware X18 or something like that. But they are a piece of engineering. The build quality is great, and these computers are actually made to work and made to last. And we should not underestimate them because they work amazing. And as you can see here, they do as well an amazing job, an incredible job to play games. Ooh, what is this? Not right now. So yeah, take a look to everything. As I just mentioned, very high settings. There is nothing else to do, and I think I just like this computer pretty much. Now that I'm playing, actually the computer is getting warm, but it's pretty light to the touch as well, which just means what I just mentioned as well before, that it works. The cooling system works. It has a vapor chamber technology and it works amazing. Probably I forgot to mention that, but this computer has a vapor chamber technology cooling system and it works amazing. So now I'm just playing Marvel Midnight Sun, which is I like those kind of games. I like in style XCOM. I just got it because it was for free in the Epic Store like 1 week ago, and I really liked XCOM, and I played until it was finished XCOM, and I really like XCOM, and I finished until I couldn't play anymore XCOM because I finished every game, and I think I'm going to like Midnight Sun. I just played the first mission, and it was pretty cool, and I like the history as well, like the combination of first person and then this turn-based strategy XCOM like. With Marvel, of course, I love Marvel. I really like Marvel, and it's a pretty nice game. And as I was telling you, when I was playing with the Dell Precision 7680, I was pretty excited as well because, again, it's an OLED panel, 4K, RTX 5008 generation, like mind-blowing GPU, best CPU in class, HX 13th generation 950HX, which is brutal. Everything was perfect, but then it started to lag. And if you imagine that with a game like Midnight Suns, and your computer is thermal throttling, and the game is lagging, and it's running like a 5 FPS per second or something, you are going to see it now. It's a shame. It's totally a shame. It's so something you cannot believe. And then when I start playing with this computer, with the HP Zbook G9, as you can see now, for example, it works pretty damn good. Like, it has well the highest settings that you can imagine, and it works pretty cool. I mean, you can see now here, for example, and I like it. It does an amazing job, and this is a real all-rounder workstation. You can play games, you can do work, you can do simulations, you can do video editing, photo editing. You can as well travel with it because it's lightweight and the charger is not that bulky, and I think it's a really nice choice of a laptop. My final thoughts of this computer is, like, as I just mentioned, that's the purpose of this small workstation, just to help you do your job, just to help you be more creative, because it has no limitation. If you are going to be using Photoshop, Lightroom, InDesign, Illustrator, DaVinci Resolve to edit your videos, Rhino to make your 3D modeling and rendering, SolidWorks to do 3D modeling, parametric 3D modeling, CATIA for more professional 3D modeling, MATLAB, or maybe you are just writing some documents in Word, or you are doing some presentations in PowerPoint, and you just like that, you need to open a 3D model, take some pictures, put it in PowerPoint, edit them, and then put it in your paper. Or are you doing some data analysis, maybe some generative AI with something like chat with RTX that now is getting along as well pretty good with NVIDIA RTX and mobile computers. Or maybe you are doing some work with NVIDIA Omniverse, rendering something, taking advantage of the 16 gigabytes of video memory. That's exactly the purpose of this machine. And let me tell you, I am so happy with it. You are not going to be disappointed by the Zbook Studio line of HP mobile workstations. This is the C9, this is the generation 9, but the generation 10, I think is going to be, I think it's much better. And the generation 11, that is now coming with the ultra-core processors that they are more energy efficient and they pack even more performance. I cannot imagine how good are going to be. I am not a sponsor from HP. I am not being sponsored by Dell. I am not being sponsored by Lenovo or something like this. That's why I really tell you my personally opinion, and the fact that I'm really happy with it, and that the fact that I really can recommend it to you. I think that's a truth. I think that's a truth, and I think you are going to be very happy as well with it. So thank you very much, guys, for watching. Sorry that I'm so busy with doing some other things, but I have some news actually. Probably in the next months, if everything goes according to plan, I'm going to be finishing my PhD, which is a nice thing. And That takes me actually a lot of time. I'm pretty busy as well, and as well I'm learning a lot at my job as well now as an engineer, and I'm just so busy, but I am trying to take my time as much as I can to make of this YouTube channel a better channel, to grow the community, and just to bring you more information of what is really IT for engineers or IT for creators. And I think if you are one of those, an engineer or a creator or a student, something like this, like the HP Zbook Studio G9 mobile workstation 16 inches, is going to make an amazing job for you as it does for me. So thank you guys very much for watching. Again, I'm really happy that you are back here. I'm really happy that I can bring you more information, and I'm going to be more than happy if you stay in the next video. So thank you very much guys for watching, and see you until the next time. And Keep Pikachu as well is going to see you in the next time.